Hi, legends. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. What is happening here with the price of Bitcoin? Last week, Friday, we had this massive pump action to the upside, and now it looks like Bitcoin is finding itself here in a little bit of a correction. Okay, as per my update this morning, are we going to form a deeper correction here to the downside to correct the entire structure that we formed here since 6 September? Okay, let's analyze the price of Bitcoin. Let's go through some of the analysis that I went through on Friday as well. Let's do some education. Smash up the like on your way in. Let's dive right in. Let me share my screen over here. Right, there we go, legends. I mean, we have lost trend, okay? Keeping the analysis simple over here. We have a touch, we have a touch, we have another touch. And what is happening here at the moment? Are we losing momentum here to the downside? That is the question. Okay, I just want to make sure that my mic levels and everything is fine over here. Just give me a moment, legends. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me properly. Okay, it looks like it's fine over here. Input, let me put it a little bit louder. Okay, cool. Right, legend. Now the question is, do you just short here to the downside, right? Everyone is panicking. We're losing the trend. Everyone is shorting. I can see the shorts entering the market from a CVD perspective. Everyone is saying, okay, we're just going to fall down here from here, okay? And where are those high possible bouncing areas where we could potentially see a bounce here back to the upside if momentum continues here to the downside? But what is very interesting about this structure for me here at the moment, it is never guaranteed that you're just going to fall, okay? Perhaps we will find some upwards momentum. You come and retest the scene of the crime, okay? You see it many times play out on the price of Bitcoin is you lose the trend. You get lots of retail people shorting this breakout here to the downside. They put their stops. Guess where? They put their stops above the previous high. And then Bitcoin decides to do this. It stops everyone out. It retests the trend for continuation here to the downside. Okay, but still forming those higher lows where the rollover aggressively continues from this point over here. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised if that move is going to play out, and I'll explain to you in a moment why I'm anticipating a potential move like that. But I mean, nothing is ever guaranteed in the market. We could get more momentum here to the downside without coming to retest the scene of the crime. Let me just take this out the way. Also, remember, I really liked this morning's thumbnail. I don't know what you guys thought, okay? Is there another wave? Right? I just had to put a wave in there. Down in the description of this video, under exchanges, we've got those amazing deals that's running for our legends, okay? Under exchanges, Bluffin, 10% cashback. That 10% cashback offer has been extended till this week, okay? So go put some money into your Bluffin account and you will get 10% cash back to trade with. You can use it towards fees, keep the profits, do whatever you want with that cash, okay? After the campaign has finished, it takes about 2 to 3 days and the money gets airdropped into your features account. And then on Bybit, we have that 500 USDT position that you can choose from to trade with. Okay, all you have to do is sign up with the link below, follow the steps, and you will get a 500 USDT free position to trade with. Okay, right, legends. I quickly want to go through before we analyze the price action over here, because on Friday I actually felt I felt like I wanted to go live again, because as I ended the stream, literally about half an hour, can't remember, a couple of minutes, half an hour max after I ended the stream, we were trading over here. Do you guys remember? We were trading over here. Okay. And based on my analysis, I really thought, okay, as a technical trader, I do not always get my analysis right. I've made peace with it. It is what it is. But you need to be able to read the price action in the moment. And because I was in front of my charts and I analyzed what was happening over here, I knew that this was strong resistance. You can see how we struggle to break out, struggle to break out, struggle to break out. And as price, okay, so if I zoom in, let's just replay from an education perspective, replay what happened over here. Okay, first thing is we had a trend. Okay, we had a beautiful trend here connecting the high, and we had a breakout here to the upside. And then I told our Legends trading Discord community that I don't trust the breakout yet to the upside. It feels like we need to go down lower. Okay. Well, we didn't go down that much lower, but we did drop. Okay. So usually from a breakout trade perspective is you will enter, you will put your stop below the low, right? And I told everyone from the pivot over here to the lows 786, please pay yourself. Okay. So still a successful trade here in the bag, right? And you could have definitely protected your position, moved your stop loss up, or you could have entered here at the retest of the trend. But also when we had the retest on the trend over here, and there was a little bit of local bullish CVD building up, we got the momentum here to the upside. There was bearish CVD, and I said, okay, cool. So if you did not take profits, that's always why I preach, you have to take profits on the way up, because if you played this breakout with this dump, you would have been stopped out at a loss. You would have been nicely in the profits and then get stopped out at a loss. Okay. Then, as price started moving up here, there was local bullish CVD building up, and I was watching the price action here on the 5-minute, 3-minute time frame, and I know from past experience, when you are starting to build bullish CVD against resistance, there's a high probability that you're going to pop out. And I know that I was looking for a short over here, so I was still observing. I still wanted to observe the price reaction when we get here, but I entered a long over here because I saw the bullish reaction. I put my stop below the candles over there, and then we got the pop here to the upside. So regardless of my analysis of me thinking that we are going down to lower levels, I had to make a decision in the moment based on the price action that I saw. Okay. And then obviously you get acceptance. You know, there was a couple of signs. You get acceptance back above the trend. Okay. As price is moving up, there's local bullish CVD building up. You are nearing resistance, more bullish CVD. And I entered the long. I think that long, just to share with everyone, I did share it this morning during my update. That's more or less where I entered, right, with my stop here below the candle closes, because there was some clear invalidations for me, especially on the smaller time frames. I took profits here by that daily level at $59,000, 100, and there by the 1.618 extension, I closed my position to get ready for the weekend because I don't like to leave trades open during the weekend. Okay, so entered the trade, successful trade in the bag, and I always like to go back, right? When I take a trade, whether I win the trade or I get stopped out, I always like to go back to see how could I have traded it better. Okay. Right. And I mean, for me, how I could have personally traded this better from a technical perspective is that swing failure from the lows over here. Okay, definitely you get acceptance, you break back up, you make a higher low for continuation. So yes, I could have had a better entry, definitely, but I'm still happy with the gains that I've made. So, you know, always as a trader, always lessons around the corner that we can learn to make the next trade better and better, always with good risk management. Okay, so I just quickly wanted to go through this scenario once again. Now, looking at this entire structure, okay, when we connect the lows over here, we obviously have a trend, nice upwards trend to the upside. And there's that saying in trading that says, trade the momentum. The friend is your trend until the very end. Okay. And now we are losing the trend over here. So this strong resistance, okay, that we broke out from, we did get a nice bounce here. Okay. Where you flip the resistance, RS flip into support, and we did get the bounce, but we made a lower high. And now we lost the trend here to the downside, and we are currently trading below resistance, which increases the probabilities that, yes, you can break down, come back for retest, and continue the momentum to the downside because we have lost trend. So definitely a scenario that I'm still keeping an eye on. We've lost trend, okay? From a breakout trading perspective, the rules are very simple. If you are a breakout trader, you know how you apply the rules is you play the breakout, you'll stop above the previous high, and you take your fib from the low to the high, and you go and identify those crucial areas of profit taking where we could potentially get a bounce. Okay. So fib from the low to the high. Okay, 50%, beautiful underbelly resistance over here. 618 also, I mean, nice support over here by the 618. The question is, we don't know where we're going to get the bounce. Okay, that's always the conundrum. And now what's important to me is I want to psychoanalyze this structure over here. Because what are the probabilities? I want to see, well, what are the highest trading probabilities inside of this structure? Are we just going to fall down here? Or are we still going to come back for a retest of the trend, the scene of the crime, okay, and then fall down? And it's all just about observing the price reaction when we hit certain levels. So let's zoom into that structure. And maybe before I do that, let me say hi to the beautiful community over here. Thanks for joining the stream. Make money. Thak, what about the current downtrend? Yes, I mean, I've just spoken about the downtrend. Could definitely be heading lower. MK Alexander, morning. Sorry, I've been absent, been in the hospital. Happy to be back. Love you all. Hey, welcome back. I hope you get better, or you are better now that you are back from the hospital. I hope it's not serious. Thanks for joining the live stream. I appreciate Mr. Alexander. Mariela, welcome back. Okay, hope you get better soon. Yes, me too. Hope you get much better soon. If you are still feeling sick, not sure why you're in the hospital, also you don't have to share, right? Ghost Levi, good morning, legends. We are going down. Yes, we are going down, but we are getting a reaction at a very critical level. The one thing I want to show you guys is, let me take the noise here out the way, take the FIP out the way. I like to go and look for areas of confluence. My most important job as a technical trader that specifically loves to trade swing failure patterns, okay, is to go and look for areas of confluence. So because I know it's a fresh week, it is a Monday, I like to go to the weekly time frame, and then I go and look for weekly levels and weekly point of controls. So from an education perspective, let me show you how I do that. Okay, so you can see I've got some weekly levels here and I've got weekly point of controls. So in simple terms, let me just zoom into this price action. A weekly level is a open and close at the same level that has not been tapped yet by a third candle or wick. Okay, this is why I can't use this one, because it's already been tapped. Can you see over there? It's already been tapped, so it's invalidated. I don't look at that level anymore. So I'm looking for fresh levels. This is where I get my weekly levels from. And sometimes the weekly and the daily levels are at the same level. So here you can see I have a weekly and a daily level at the same level. So I know that when or if price gets there, it's going to offer a little bit of extra resistance if price finds momentum here to the upside. What I also like to do is use a magnet just to snap on the level. Okay, so here you can see, let's just quickly go through it. I have a weekly daily level here at 68,000. I have another weekly level here at $64,000, 100. Okay, and untapped, right? Untapped level, they need to be untapped. This is why I'm not using these ones, because they've already been tapped. And now we have a fresh weekly level, which I added this morning at $54,000, 786. Please remember that the levels for these candles might be different depending on the exchange you use to do your trading or your analysis on. Okay. So as long as you just have your levels marked out, you trade the chart in front of you, right? It's all good. I will not add a weekly level on top here because this candle is still in the process of forming. Only once this candle has finished forming. So if by next week Sunday, this candle just keeps on dropping here to the downside, there will now be a fresh weekly level over here. But if the price for some reason finds recovery back here to the upside, there's no weekly level that I will consider. Okay, it needs to be an open and a close at the same level. So that is typically what I go through on a Monday from a weekly perspective, just to make sure that I have all my weekly levels marked out. And then for the point of control, very important. Okay, let me zoom into last week's candle to find the weekly point of control. And as you can see, that is where we're getting the reaction at the moment, as at the weekly point of control. Okay, you take your fixed range. Let me see if everyone can see that. Yes, you take your fixed range. It is this one, fixed range volume profile, and I snap it. Let me just delete the one that's already there. I basically take it, I snap it at the top, and I snap it to the bottom. And here we'll see there's a red line. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. There's a nice little red line inside there, which means during this week, this is where the most amount of volume was traded. And that level can give you a reaction for when you come down, you tap it, you could get a larger candle to the upside, also momentum to the upside. This is why this weekly point of control is so important, because that's now exactly where we're getting the reaction, and that's also where I exactly entered the trade. Okay, with good risk management, and my position is already protected, which I've already shared with the legends in the Discord community. First link down in the description if you'd like to join. So the legends, for those of you that did enter the trade here with momentum to the upside, congratulations. Okay, you know where to take profits, because we have gone through that as well. Obviously, if we don't get stopped out, right? But if I get stopped out, it's a free trade. I'll get stopped out at break even. Okay, so now that I have my weekly levels marked out, you can do the same thing with dailies. Okay, the exact same process with your daily levels. You can see that there's a nice little daily level. If I switch on my daily level, I should have a daily. There's my daily level. And here's another daily level, untapped still. And that's basically the daily levels that I have inside of this range. Okay, now let's go back onto the 1 hour time frame. Smash up the like for the education if you guys enjoy the education. Okay, there's not a lot of traders that actually share proper technical trading education. You take that out the way. Right, so as you can see, okay, what happened now is, yes, we have lost trend. Let me switch my trends on. Okay, it looks bearish as hell, but as a technical trader, I can still long the momentum to the downside, knowing that I have an important level and I got a reaction from that level. I can manage my risk properly, okay, and I need to plan precisely where I need to take profits and pay myself on the way up. Okay, like what happened over here. If you played this breakout, you would have been stopped out with a loss if you didn't pay yourself on the way up. Let me just switch off the magnet over here. Okay, so what I'm currently watching at I'm looking at legends is, I want to go here onto the 15-minute time frame, and this is more or less the structure that I'm looking at, is to say that yes, I was expecting a reaction here at the weekly point of control that I've just shown everyone how I got to, but also a reaction from this pivot. So now I'm starting to have levels of confluence that are coming together. It's not just a single level that stands all by its lonesome and I'm hoping for a reaction at that level. Okay, so when you have a pivot, okay, a clear swing failure pivot, you have a weekly naked point of control at a certain level. And I also look at the structure. Okay, this really looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure to the downside. Okay, and I know with 5 wave structures to the upside or to the downside, there's usually a corrective structure. Okay, so if this is the 5th wave over here, the end of this impulse here to the downside, you could expect an A, B, C to the upside, and then the momentum continues to the downside. So it's not to say because I've entered along over here, I'm expecting price to just do that. Yes, it can definitely happen because the market is here to surprise us. We all know that, right? But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This could be the end of the 5th wave over here, okay, where we could now be forming a larger A. Maybe we reject here, B, C to the upside, potentially coming to claim this pivot over here. This is kind of the maximum target that I see. Yes, we can go a little bit higher. I'm not sure, or not even tap this target. But that's why it's important to pay yourself here on the way up. But I also acknowledge the fact, okay, that we could range over here, and grab the liquidity again. Okay, definitely a possibility. If price ranges over here, just sideways, and it grabs the liquidity, it takes the low. That's what I mean by grabbing the liquidity. It takes the low and it gets acceptance back above the level. That is a sign of strength. Excuse me. And that is also why I have the trend over here. Because I trade multiple strategies and levels of confluence, if I miss, if price consolidates here and it stops me out and it gets acceptance back above. Maybe I'm sleeping or I'm not in front of my charts. Maybe I'm lucky enough to be by the trend. When the breakout happens, I will trade the momentum here as well. Okay, for another attempt to the upside. Potentially you break up, okay, and we come and claim this pivot over here. That's kind of the target that I'm seeing, the obvious pivot, because I know the reason I'm targeting, okay, this pivot over here, because I know breakout traders are shorting. They have all their stop losses above this high, and it would be nice for the price of Bitcoin to say, let's go and stop all of them out. We make people believe we're getting acceptance back inside the trend. You stop all of these, you grab the liquidity, you stop them out, you liquidate the positions depending on how much leverage they use, and then we fall down. Okay, so I wouldn't be surprised for this move to play out. But there's also the possibility that we don't get that week to the downside, okay? There's the possibility that we grind here to the upside, okay? We come back down for a B wave, we go back up for a C wave, and then we fall here to the downside without taking this level. And that is why I have attempted a trade, and it's a free trade. If I get stopped out, I am in front of my PC, my alarms go off, I will have another attempt at this long here to the upside. So from a day trading perspective, I can trade the momentum up, I can trade the momentum down, I can trade the momentum up. And this is where, as from a day trading perspective, we make our money. We trade up, we trade down, we short, we long. Okay. We don't care if we're going to $40,000 or $100,000 from a day trading perspective. All you want is to play the longs to the upside and play the shorts to the downside. You don't care from a larger time frame perspective whether we're going to 100K or whether we're going to 40K. So technically, right, this was definitely an acceptable long year to the upside. Weekly point of control, you grab the liquidity below this week over here, and there's a chance for upwards momentum here, but I'm also acknowledging that you can chop, 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 grab it again, maybe come and even bounce here at this daily level, untap daily, you tap the daily, you get acceptance back above, right, for momentum here to the upside. Also, we need to be prepared, okay, for those worst case scenarios as well, because unfortunately, nothing is for certain in this market, right? You have a lot of people shorting this breakout. They do have these stops above the high. And what if momentum just continues to the downside, right? This was the shorting zone, okay? I'm not sure if I will FOMO into a short from where we are right now. It's just not a shorting zone for me. This is a no shorting zone. Okay, I cannot short over here. Right, all good. I see all the hearts going over here, and I know the legends usually try and attract my attention if something's wrong with the stream. Okay. I entered along at 58K 488. 58 400. Ooh, that's a bit high. Yes. Am I okay? Oh, that's what you're asking, Mr. 𝗖𝗆𝗍𝗍. Right. So you basically, okay, let's go and analyze that for the legend. Okay. So you're obviously underwater at the moment. You want to know if price can recover. Worst case scenario. Let's first talk about worst case scenario. Okay. We come back up. We have resistance. We have resistance that we broke through. I thought, okay, which did happen, we flipped the area into support and now we have lost it. So worst case scenario is we find upwards momentum, we reject again by this trend and we fall down. Okay, and that is 58,337. So you should be able to recoup some of your cash. Worst case scenario, maybe not all of it. You could just come up here, reject and fall down again. Best case scenario is that the ABC to the upside plays out, where this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we make an A, B, C to the upside, where you could potentially, right, cash out over here at $59,000, 197. Okay, please, if price is in your favor, if you are underwater, firstly, you know, risk management, stop loss needed to be in place, but you are now in the situation where you are, is that you need to take profits, okay? when I started out as a trader, and I made the same mistakes. Definitely, I can't, I know I've been there, I've done it, I've made the same mistakes. You think, that the trend's going to hold, it doesn't hold, price falls down, you start to panic, you cash out the position, or it just falls to the downside, and at some point you need to make the decision to cash out. Sometimes you just have to learn to take the knock on the chin, cash out the position, because you just never know what's going to happen. So best case scenario for me is, based on where your entry is round about this area over here, is that we make an ABC correction to the upside. We retest the scene of the crime, and I will definitely, take some profits, close out your position, de-risk yourself, because you don't know if we're going to do this. You just don't know. We could then smack back down. Oh, I was in the green. I thought we are going to get upwards momentum. Now I'm back to where I was again. Okay. Right, legends. So I just need to highlight the worst case scenario. You retest the resistance. Maybe you don't even get here, or we chop. Okay, we don't really find higher momentum. We go back down. We get acceptance back above. That's what I would like to see. Okay, there's a chance to still move higher over here. But there's also that scenario where we reject by the trend and we fall down. Okay, have to be prepared. So I unfortunately cannot tell you what you need to do. From a trading perspective, you need to decide whether you have the appetite to take another dump here to the downside, because what if the daily level does not hold as support and we just keep on tumbling here to the downside? Okay, that is the danger, right? Is that we as traders just never know. The reason I feel so comfortable with this trade is not because I know that I'm going to win. The reason I feel comfortable with the trade that I'm in at the moment is my position is protected. If I get stopped out, I lose nothing. That is why I have a stop loss. So if price had to consolidate, it stops me out, and we don't get acceptance back above the level. We maybe retest it as resistance and we start falling down. I will wait for the next area. Maybe I'll long here by the daily level. I do like the daily level because it has confluence with this pivot, and I saw that there's a lot of liquidity below this pivot. So there is still a possibility where, I'm counting the big structure over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the one thing that I'm still keeping an eye on this mini structure over here is that, what if this is a 1, 2, 3, it's busy with the fourth wave, it makes the fifth wave to the downside, and then it gets acceptance back above. So I am kind of still expecting another week yet to the downside, but you just never know. And that's why I attempted to trade over here, because you might not get this leg to the downside, or we just fall. As traders, we just need to be prepared for all scenarios. Okay. But we can still attempt trades. I got a reaction, I entered, I protected my position. If I get stopped out and I see what I like to see from a technical perspective, you dip down, you get acceptance back above the level, I will re-enter, okay? I do not care if I get stopped out multiple times at break even. It is when I take a loss. So for example, if my stop loss is here below the lows, okay, and I entered in this zone over here, and price stops me out. We get acceptance back above. I put my stop loss below the wicks. Okay, and I get stopped out once again without protecting my position. If I take losses, okay, I would say about 2 losses after each other, I call it a day. I take a break, I go for a walk, I go to the gym, I get rid of my frustration. I have just learned from past experience, usually when you take 2 losses after each other, okay, that's when revenge trading starts to kick in. So for me to manage my revenge trading, because I've learned a lot about myself during my trading career, is I close my computer, I don't trade anymore, I go for a walk, I go to the gym, I cycle, I swim, I sit in the steam room, I take a break, okay? Tomorrow is another day. From a day trading perspective, there is always another trade around the corner. I do not have to try and FOMO and use higher leverage and bigger position sizes to try and claw back, okay, my money. I've also noticed sometimes you are just in a losing streak for the day, okay? Just don't trade, okay? If you get two stops in a day, or even 3, some people push it even to 3, call it a day, right? Go reset yourself. Go reset your brain. Don't let the revenge trading kick in. Okay. Legends, from a simplicity perspective, I mean, without looking at Elliott wave theory or all the complex things, I'm just waiting for the break of the trend. Okay. From a simplicity perspective, I have had many successful trades with the break of the trend strategy over here. You wait for the break of the trend, you wait for the alarm to go off. I don't know if we are going to go higher than this low. I just don't know. But if I only look at this structure over here, it does kind of look like a potential bump and run. You have two taps, you have the bump phase to the downside, and can it really be that you break the trend and you go claim the high once again? I mean, based on what I've seen on Bitcoin, not impossible, okay? Definitely not impossible, because we have to look at the most bearish case scenarios, and we also have to look at the most bullish case scenarios. Is what if, I like to play what if scenarios, okay? What if everyone is shorting, we're losing momentum, okay? Price starts finding strength, and it goes and it claims the highs once again, and then it starts rolling over. You just have to be open to the scenario over here. This is why I'm keeping an eye on the trend. I want to see what price is going to do that. If we do find upwards momentum, I will be keeping an eye on CVD. Do I see local bullish CVD, bearish CVD? What is happening from a larger time frame perspective? Because also, let's go and have a look at CVD over here and go on to the 15-minute. Let's just go and analyze what's going on here from a CVD perspective. Ooh, we are making some local bullish CVD. Okay, but before we look at that structure, okay, so let's look at this entire momentum here to the upside. So looking at this low, we have bullish CVD. Okay, there's bullish CVD, there's bullish CVD, and on white, on all the exchanges, not so much, but we do have bullish CVD on yellow, right? Looking at this low here on the 7th, around about the 7th of September. So purely based on this CVD over here, okay, without, losing the trend, we're going down, we're going to make a deeper correction, there is still the possibility to come and claim this high from where we are right now. But I mean, there's still a far way to the lows to invalidate this bullish CVD. So I do acknowledge that price can still find upwards momentum, maybe reject here by that pivot and come back down, right? You will then form more insane bullish CVD here to the downside and then only go and claim the highs. We don't know when we're going to claim the highs, but it can be from any point, okay? We just don't know. Okay, so let's go and look at some areas of confluence. I want to just take a fib here from the low to the high to say that, well, if we do get a deeper correction here to the downside, the areas of confluence that I'm looking at is this 0.382 level over here, okay, still looks good, right? We haven't even properly tapped the 0.382 over here. When you zoom into the price action, when you take a fib from the high or from the low to the high, we have not even tapped the 0.382. And usually when you have a nice pump to the upside from a larger time frame perspective, you draw your fib. Usually when you tap a significant fib level like the 0.382 for the first time, you do get a nice little reaction. What if this is a shallow retracement and its momentum continues here to the upside? We just have to consider that possibility. But we also have nice resistance. You guys can see the underbelly resistance over here. Okay, I just want to see if there's maybe a nice point of control. Let me switch on my point of controls. Okay, this is where I start looking for areas of confluence. If we are going to get a deeper correction to the downside, okay, together with fib levels, we have a naked point of control. I just want to see inside of this range. Yeah, it's more or less the same, okay? This is where the most amount of volume was traded inside of this range. So 50% fib level does look really great. If we do find downwards momentum, definitely a bouncing area, okay? 618, I like clear pivots like this for an SFP, especially if it has confluence with another level. 0.618, definitely a bouncing area. And I mean, ideally, we do not want to go lower than the 0.786 because that will give probabilities if you come down here to the 0.88 that we're going to take the low again. Okay, so I mean, we have analyzed the structure quite deeply over here. I just quickly want to see here something on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, let's just clean up some levels, make the chart sexy again. I just want to see something here. I do see a lot of people talking about this trend being hit, but my trend is not hit. Okay, I like specifically for Bitcoin, I like to connect the trend with the pivots. Okay, so perhaps some people have their trend over here where they connected it with that pivot. I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it, right? I like that pivot over there. It's just a preference thing. There's nothing wrong or right about placing your trend like this so that you have the 3 touches. Okay, so for now, I will leave my trend there until we get the momentum here to the upside, but I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that trend as well. Okay, I just want to see something. I just want to look at that leading diagonal that I spoke about on Friday. Okay, so oops, what did I delete? This is the one I wanted to delete. Okay, I mean, still too early to call for this leading diagonal. The reason I just wanted to bring it up again, okay? Like I said on Friday, I like to speak about these Elliott wave scenarios once wave 4 is in, okay? We're still very far away. But what I want to highlight about the structure is that so far, so good. Okay, it is on track to potentially play out. Where I did say, okay, we can get a rejection here by this trend over here, which most likely we got now. So what you would like to see is a 3-wave structure. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We just don't know how deep this correction is going to go to the downside. But I would like to see a 1, 2, 3 structure. 1, 2, 3 to the upside, because I will be honest with you guys, the structures inside of this impulse look very 3-wavy to me. Some of the impulses to the upside, I'm really struggling to count 5 waves inside of it. So this could be the formation of 3-wave structures to the upside, smaller 3 waves inside of the bigger 3-wave structure here to the upside, where we could potentially still come and claim the high. You get a 3-wave to the downside, a 3-wave to the upside, a massive 3-wave corrective structure to the downside, where you do not claim the low. You make a higher low for continuation, and continuation for the bull market to the upside. Okay, but I mean, I just, like I said on Friday as well, very early to call this structure as valid because it's so early for it. But the reason I wanted to share it is because we were trading over here when I showed you guys the structure. And so far, so good. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I don't know. Let's see how that plays out. We do have some bullish CVD counting in our favor, right? When I look at CVD on the 15-minute time frame, we can see that we have some nice bullish CVD between these pivots. And even if price comes down a little bit further, right, where you then have that 3-wave structure and expecting a potential explosion here to the upside. Okay, let me go through some comments over here. Take the brushes out. Let me know what you guys think. Legends, let me know. Okay, I've gone through that. Let's go, 𝗬𝗍𝘆𝗽. Welcome, Mr. Scoot. Welcome to the live stream. I took the short from Daily Open and the long. Beautiful, beautiful, Mariela. You know, it's always a day trading trade with good risk management is always an awesome trade. Okay, great TA, make money. Thank you so much. With all the good news, why are we going down? Right? It's difficult to say, right? I don't trade news. I usually try and stay out of the market, especially if there's CPI data being released or interest rate cuts or whatever the case might be. I like to stay out of the market, wait a couple of hours for the market to absorb the news, and then I will start trading again. I really don't like to trade news from a volatility perspective. Okay. Is full analysis mode. Let's go. What about the Fed meeting? CME gap. Yes, we do have a CME. Let me go, and I actually haven't looked at the CME gap in a while. Let's go check it out. That's dominance. BTC 4 hour. You guys can see I've been marking out my CME gaps, and I must probably missed some. Okay, so we do have a CME gap here to the downside, but remember, you do not have to close CME gaps immediately. You can go close them at a later stage, right? We still have CME, we still have that big CME gap at $9,000, which will most likely never get closed, right? I'm not sure if we will ever get down to $9,000 again. I mean, market is here to surprise us. All I'm trying to highlight is there's always a possibility that you do not have to close the CME gap. But if price action does come down here, yes, it can definitely, the top of the CME gap and the bottom of the CME gap can offer support, okay? Sometimes if price comes down, it can bounce on top without even closing it, or it can close it and then you get a bounce to the upside. Right, I'm not sure if we're going to correct this deep. Definitely a possibility as long as we don't exceed the 786. So what I would like to see over here is, let's just take that scribble out the way, take a Fibonacci and just see what is cooking. It is a little bit deep. Okay. I would like to see a maximum target of the 786. Okay. If we're going to come here to the 0.88, you increase the probabilities of coming to take the low. Okay. Maybe a three-way structure to the downside. We cannot rule out bearish case scenarios. Okay, so even based on that Elliott case scenario that I've showed you from a bullish perspective to the upside to continue the bull market, there is definitely a possibility. If we start tumbling down here, we come back up, you make some bearish CVD against these pivots, definitely a possibility. Maybe you bounce here on the top of the CME gap, you get a nice little bounce, making people extremely bullish, okay, and then we take the low once again. $45,000, here we come. Okay, always a possibility. But we don't have to, right? I just wanted to highlight that, yes, legends, there's always the possibility to come back to the CME gap, but we do not have to fill it. Price can still do this for months, weeks, years even before it comes back to this level. It does not have to close it right now. I've seen many CME gaps in the past that's still not filled at the moment. And not just on Bitcoin, on the S&P 500, NASDAQ, gold, silver, you name it. Okay, doesn't have to always be filled, right? But the recent ones have all been filled. Okay, I just want to see what is happening with price action more locally. Okay, we're getting a nice little more dumpy action here to the downside. Okay, but I have analyzed exactly what can happen over here. So just in summary, just switching back my levels back on, I will definitely, legends, like I said, consider another long. Okay, if price chop, and we do this, not interested. I am not interested in a long if price does this. But if price does this, I am interested in a long, because then I know where to put my stop loss, and you're getting acceptance back above the lows and the weekly point of control. Okay, but if price does this, let me just redo it. Okay, if price does this, not interested, because it could continue the momentum to the downside. Okay, right, and that is swing failure strategies. Let's go through some more comments. We have this week above us CME gap, week above us. I don't see the CME gap above us. Where do you see the CME gap? Okay, maybe on the 1 hour. Right, the CME chart that I'm using here, I don't see, unless you're looking at the larger time frames. Okay, this one has already been filled. Can you see this one has already been filled? That one has been filled. Okay, I don't see any other CME gaps. All right. We have the week. Okay, I've gone through that. Hey, going to take a BTC long around 57,313. 57,313. That's round about the daily level, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, $57,000, 305. Definitely. Okay. Because that's why I have my areas of confluence. I have a daily level. If we lose this weekly point of control, okay, I have another level that I can look at for potential long. So if price falls down here and I get a reaction from the daily level, that is definitely a long opportunity, but I want to see the reaction. I want to see price slow down, like what is happening over here. Price falls, it slows down, and it starts ranging. I want to see this over here. Okay. Not if price is just slicing through like it doesn't exist, and it starts closing high time frame candles below this daily. I would say if you start getting 15-minute, 1 hour time frame body candle closes below the daily, okay, you can definitely expect more momentum to the downside. But you can still scalp the levels, right? I do see a lot of successful traders. What they will do is, okay, you enter, stop, protect your position as soon as price starts moving in your favor. Okay. Does this, it starts rolling over. You took profits, you got in, you got out, okay, you paid yourself, right? I have seen aggressive traders playing those little bounces to the upside, high leverage positions, protecting themselves, still practicing good risk management, making money from small little bounces like this. You get in, you get out, you wait for the next level. Okay, definitely a possibility. But that's really advanced trading. Okay, if you know what you're doing, you're experienced as a trader, I will not recommend the strategy to anyone starting out from a trading perspective. Okay, it's a really advanced strategy, and that's why I actually don't like to talk about it. Okay, I mean, last week, right, okay, that's good. 2 for 56,702 for a long position. 56,200, yes, round about this daily level. Okay. Legends, I have unfortunately run out of time. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed the analysis. If you've missed what I'm looking for inside of this range is during the first, I would say, 20 minutes of the stream. Go and rewatch that. Smash up the like on your way out. Hit subscribe for future notifications. Don't forget about the specials that we've got running here from an exchange perspective. 10% cash back with Bluffin for existing and new users using this link to sign up. And also that $500 Bybit airdrop to trade with. Okay, free airdrop $500 position to trade with of any of these coins over here. Have yourselves a blessed evening. Until the next one, legends. Cheers for now.